TEKS 5A, Solving Multi-Step Equation Notes. So our vocabulary is PEMDAS. So let's remember what PEMDAS stands for. So our first step is parentheses. So 1 parentheses. So if we ever see parentheses, we need to either simplify those or use the distributive property. 2 is exponents, and remember exponents are that little number at top. 3 is multiplying or dividing. So whatever comes first, left to right. Just like you read a book, left to right. And lastly, 4, addition or subtraction. So left to right, whatever comes first. So we don't look for all the adding first if subtraction is on the left. So you're reading it from left to right, whatever comes first. Our goal, just like in one-step equations, is to get the variable, remember variable means letter, by itself. Okay, so let's look at some examples. So example 1, we have 2x plus 5 equals 11. We need to get rid of the number furthest from x, and our number furthest from x is that 5, so I'm subtracting 5. So I'm going to write that as my first step. Subtract 5. Okay. So when I subtract 5, I am left with 2x equals 6. So to get rid of that 2, I'm going to divide. So we're dividing by 2. And 6 divided by 2 is 3. So I got x equals 3. This simplifies to x equals 3. Okay. Next one. Example 2. I have 1/3 times x minus 10 equals 2. So I'm going to add 10 since that's furthest away. So add 10. When I add 10, I am left with 1/3 x equals 12. So to get rid of that 1/3, since it's being multiplied, I have to divide, do the opposite, by 1/3. So divide by 1/3, divide by 1/3. If you type that into your calculator, you're going to get x equals 36. Okay, 2 more examples. Okay, notice when we were talking about PEMDAS that we have to do the parentheses first. And if we have a number outside our parentheses, like this 2, we have to use the distributive property and multiply everything on the inside. So I have 2 times x, which is 2x, and 2 times 5, which is 10. Then I'm going to bring everything else down, that minus 3 and the 17. So my first step was to distribute 2. Okay, now notice that I have a 10 and negative 3 on the same side. So that means I need to combine like terms. So I have 2x and 10 minus 3 is 7, so plus 7. And then bring down the 17. Now I'm going to subtract 7 since it's furthest away from my x. So subtract 7. And I am left with 2x equals 10. And then my last step is to divide by 2. So divide by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So these are multi-step equations, so we're going to have lots of steps. So to double check that you're doing it right, just make sure you're following PEMDAS and you're doing everything one step at a time. Okay, so let's look at the last one. The first step in the last one, since we have parentheses, is to distribute this 2. So exactly like what we did on the third example. So I have 2 times x, which is 2x, and 2 times 5, which is 10. I'm going to bring down the negative 3, and I'm going to bring down the x plus 4. So I distribute 2. Okay, again, notice that I have like terms on the same side. So I'm going to combine them to get 2x plus 7 and x plus 4 on the other side. Okay, so combine like terms. Okay, notice here that I have x's on both sides of my equations. So now I need to differentiate which side I'm going to put my x's on and which side I'm going to put my numbers on. So I'm going to say my x's are going to go over here and my numbers are going to go over here. So if I want my x's on the left side, that means I need to subtract x on the right. Subtract x. Remember, when we subtract x, that's the same as subtracting 1x. So 2x minus 1x is x plus 7 equals 4. And then I have to move my numbers over to the right side, and I'm going to subtract 7. So that means I'm left with x is equal to 4 minus 7, which is negative 3. So let me finish writing those steps down. I moved my x's to the left, my numbers to the right, and then I subtracted 7.